Korrupted Productions.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of a Korrupted Perspective on Gaming. Today, we're going to look into Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch. Alright, so a few weeks ago on launch, I bought Super Mario Odyssey. And I've spent a lot of time with this game, played it, recorded hours of footage on this game, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on it. I know there are a million reviews out there already, but I wanted to try this out. I wanted to do a review on a modern video game, share my thoughts, see what others' opinions are, see if they agree with me or not. Alright, so Super Mario Odyssey. Man, to let you know right out the gate, if you don't want to hear any more, Nintendo knocked it out of the park in my opinion. Super Mario Odyssey, Nintendo brought a beautiful world as they always can and as they always do with Mario. They beautifully sculpted all the environments. They put them together nicely. Beautiful worlds, beautiful gameplay. The gameplay is buttery smooth. The controls work very well. I don't know, there are ways to play the game with the Joy-Cons extended out and shaking them and all that stuff. I didn't do that. I played with the Pro Controller, or I played strictly in tablet mode, or however you want to call it, portable. That's the beautiful thing about this game. That's the beautiful thing about the Nintendo Switch in general. You can play the game on the go. You can play the game sitting at home, comfortable, kick back, relax, playing it on the TV. You can do all those things, and that's what's great about Super Mario Odyssey. Another thing that I loved about Super Mario Odyssey is just an ode to Mario of old. It feels a lot like a modern version of Super Mario 64. Super Mario 64 was actually the last Super Mario game that I spent a lot of time with. And I remember way back when that game came out, it was a groundbreaking game. It was the first of its kind where it got everything right. The controls, yeah, playing it now, some of the controls are a little wonky because that was just a Nintendo 64 in general with its control scheme. But they brought those aspects, those fun aspects, those beautiful gameplay mechanics. They brought all that to the new day, and they've capitalized on it. He also has a new sidekick in this game, Cappy, which is his hat, that he uses as his fighting mechanic. He uses him for help to get around, everything else. And Cappy has a really cool feature. On some enemies, when you attack them, you throw the hat, and Cappy gets on them, and then it sucks Mario into that enemy, and you become that enemy. And you have to use this as a lot of different ways to platform and get the power moons. The power moons are like the stars in Super Mario 64. You have to collect those and gain those to exceed into the game. But the power moons in this game have a purpose. They're not necessarily a purpose it is to open up a world, but they bring a cool aspect into it. Mario has the Odyssey. Mario and Cappy have the Odyssey as a big hat that is an aircraft, basically, that takes Mario and Cappy throughout the worlds. And that's how they get there. The power moons are exactly that. They power up the Odyssey. And so with time you get more power and everything else, so you can go further in the galaxy, and that's really cool. The other aspect of the game is, like, you collect, every world has these different purple coins, and each world has its own coin, and you collect those coins to buy different things in the throughout the game. You can buy coins. You can get coins to get new costumes, which is cool because you can change Mario's look throughout the game. You can customize him however you want. Um, and each level has its own costume that's befitting for Mario in that world, and it fits that area, and that's really cool. Um, there are also little upgrades that you can do to your Odyssey. You can buy little fixtures that go up in the Odyssey on the cutscenes when you roll by, and you see all these little collectibles that you picked up in the worlds. And you can buy bumper stickers that you put them all on the outside of the Odyssey. That's really neat, and that's something cool that just kind of adds to the game and adds a little more for you to do besides just going from point A to point B. One of the things I really enjoyed about Super Mario Odyssey is the fact that most games nowadays, a lot of games, I can't say most of them, but a lot of games nowadays are your big open world experiences. I like those. I enjoy those, and it's cool to see these big, beautiful open worlds where you can go wherever you want to. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is that way, and I really enjoy that game, but I've yet to beat it. Because the simple fact is I'm getting older, and I have responsibilities, and I have a job, and have kids to take care of, and all these different things, where a big open world experience sometimes is just not for me because I can't really dig in and play it. And I also get sidetracked on all the side quests. I enjoy them. It doesn't take away from the game as far as my enjoying it. But the main story, like it's hard for me to complete those because I get all over the place with it. And the cool thing about Super Mario Odyssey is the fact that this game is streamlined. It has a path that you go. And each path leads to a different, on the path you go to different worlds. Well, those worlds are not like these little sandbox areas where it's just so tiny you do these couple of things and you're done. They're massive worlds in their own right. And they have their side quests and you can enjoy it. But you don't spend so much time with it that you forget the main progress of the game and you get lost. Like, that's a problem I have with Legend of Zelda is at times I just get lost and I don't know where to go. I have no idea where to go, and it may take me hours to get back to a spot where I'm actually progressing in the game. And some people may enjoy that, and I enjoy that to an extent, but I like games like Mario Odyssey where you're moving forward. You move forward and you get to experience the whole thing. And that's really cool. Touching on the worlds, they've brought back like the sand worlds of Mario. They brought back water worlds. There's ice world. There's always those kind of worlds. But then they brought different cool worlds that I've never seen. Like maybe they've been in other Mario games, but like I said, Super Mario 64 was the last one that I played religiously and actually played it a lot. But it brought a world to me that was just absolutely gorgeous visually. It was a cooking world, and it had like lava, but it was kind of soup. It was a soup world, and you had to think about different ways to get Cappy to move through that, where you transform into whatever it was, and you'd make it through there, and different things, and it was really cool. Then they brought the new Junk City world. That was really awesome. I was really kind of negative about that when I first seen the Super Mario Odyssey trailer with Mario being in a world with real humans. It was kind of weird, and I wouldn't have thought it would have worked well, but it really did. There was a lot to see there, and there was a bunch of things. It was just really enjoyable, like putting together the band for the end scene of that game that everyone's talked about on their reviews. Unfortunately for me, I thought that was the very end of the game and I wasn't ready for it, so I didn't do it, and now I've got to make my way back there since I've beaten the game, and I will and do that. But that was really cool. Then there are the bosses. You got I do miss the Koopalings, or whatever they're called, the Koopa Kids, or whatever they were in the older games. Like, I would have liked to have seen some of those. But you have these rabbit kind of characters, I think they are. Not to be mixed up with the Rabbids game, and maybe that was done intentionally, I don't know. But they were really neat, and they had their own characteristics that were pretty cool. Um, they had, just like every Mario game, you figure out the mechanic that you have to do to beat them, and you hit them 3 times and they're done. Some of those changed up and got a little bit harder as the times went, but that was cool. But then there were other bosses in the game that were massive. They were big bosses, and you really had to think about what you were going to do on those, because it didn't take the same 3 maneuvers every time. Like, you had to do something different to get to the final hits of those things, and it was really cool, and I enjoyed that. Another thing I enjoyed about the game were there were throwbacks. There were nice little gems and hidden things in there, and some of it weren't even hidden. Like, one of the first things that I seen that I was just mind blown on, because I hadn't seen any of that, was you go up and you're going through the world, the 3D world, like normal, and you're playing, and you see the plumbing tunnel. And all Mario games, you had the plumbing tunnel that you went down to get to the next area or whatever, or take a shortcut. Well, these, you go into the plumbing tunnel, and all of a sudden the music changes, the graphics change, everything goes back to 8-bit Mario. Side-scrolling Mario, the classic Mario. The Mario that everybody loves. Maybe not everybody, but the one that people remember. And it would go through there, and you would do these things in that world, or in that little section, and then when you got out, it just transitioned beautifully back into 3D Mario. And those were cool little things to find throughout the game. And then there were points and levels where you would make it to this odd spot. Like, I was on the soup level that I was referring to, and I was going through there, and on the back side of this place there was just this little bitty island out there, and I jumped over there, and there was a picture frame on the wall. Picture frame a la Mario 64. Yeah. Jumped into the picture frame. It takes me to this little thing, just like Mario 64, how that's how you went to the levels. I jumped in there, and I see the Mushroom Kingdom, but I can't get there. I'm on a high rise. Well, I start looking around where I'm at, and I'm looking, and guess what? It's Yoshi's house. And it looked oddly familiar, but it was in 3D form. It reminded me of Yoshi's house on Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. A game that I spent countless hours of my youth with, and that was really cool. It was just kind of a shout out, you know. And then you progress through the game. You come up and you fight Bowser. You go through Bowser one time, and then you get sent back. You end up having to fight Bowser again. And Bowser was a cool battle. Like, the first time, Bowser was fairly easy. Some people may say Bowser was really easy on the last time too, but I did struggle with that a little bit. I had to play it over and over because he kept changing it up. And that was a cool, fun challenge, and I enjoyed it. The end game that I've gotten to was, it took me to the Mushroom Kingdom. And you're sitting there and you're looking at the Mushroom Kingdom in all its glory, and it reminds you of my childhood, being back in like the 5th and 6th grade, playing Super Mario 64. The world looks just like it, but buttery smooth. And you hear about different things. Like, I remember as a kid hearing about the Yoshi on the roof. Well, guess what? Yoshi was on the roof. You get to play as Yoshi by throwing Cappy on him, and you do certain things to get some power moons there. You can actually go buy the Super Mario 64 skin outfit there with the purple coins, and there's different things. And one of the really cool things is, I haven't heard anybody else mention this, but I was walking around the Mushroom Kingdom, and I came up on the Flower Garden. Well, I remember Mario 64 going through there, and there's a rabbit, You had to catch the rabbit. Guess what? You chase the rabbit down, you catch the rabbit, and you get a star. And that's what's kind of cool too, is throughout the whole game you've had the power moons. Once you get to the Mushroom Kingdom, everything is the stars again, just like it was back in Mario 64. And catching that rabbit was gratifying. It was very nostalgic, and it was a beautiful moment. Like, just getting that star, because I remember that, and they left that in there, and that was really neat and really cool. Overall, this game was really fun. It was really great. Gameplay mechanics were smooth. Nintendo, you knocked it out of the park. Could it have been better? I'm sure it could have been, but I can't really point out my flaws on it. I really don't know. I mean, it's not a perfect game by any means. Is any game ever perfect, though? So I'll give you that. I'll give you that little nugget. Is this a game you should buy? Do you have a Nintendo Switch? If you do, you should buy this game and play it if you've been thinking about it. If you've ever enjoyed any kind of Mario game, this is a Mario game I think everyone will enjoy if they've enjoyed Mario. Do you not own a Nintendo Switch? Should you buy a Nintendo Switch just for this game? I don't believe in buying a console for just one game, period. So I would say no on that, because that's a lot of money to spend on one console for one game and never intend on playing anything else. I wouldn't do that. But if you've been wanting a Nintendo Switch, you've gotten the money to get a Nintendo Switch, and you've really been interested in playing some of the other games like Breath of the Wild or the new Super Mario Kart 8 Deluxe game and Mario Rabbids and all the different things that's been coming out on there, and Mario Odyssey has come up and you're really thinking about it, should this be the game that tips you over the edge? Sure. Yeah, get it. Get it, because this game is amazing. It's really good. It's enjoyable. I spent a lot of time with it, like I said, and I enjoyed every minute of gameplay that I had with it. And I believe you will too. If you ever enjoyed Super Mario games, this is a really fun one. This is a really good Mario game. It's a game that throws back to the old Mario games, but also brings him into the future with new gameplay mechanics and better graphics and everything else. The storyline is your basic Mario game. Bowser kidnaps the princess and Mario goes for the rescue. But hey, that's the way it is. A lot of people have gotten upset, my friends included, with Mario and Nintendo and everything else. But the truth of the matter is if you have something that works, that people enjoy, why throw it away? People get mad at musicians all the time for changing the way they sound. But they get over it. So why not? Mario, it changed its sound, but it's still Mario, and people still enjoy Mario. So keep making it. Bring us another one, Nintendo, in a few years. I'll play it if it's any good, or if it looks good. I'll try it at least. But anyway, that is a corrupted perspective on Super Mario Odyssey. If you enjoyed the video, like it, share it, whatever, subscribe to the channel. And also, if you've played Mario Odyssey, if I left out anything, comment below. Let's have a discussion about it. Let's talk about it. I haven't really talked about it with anyone because I haven't had anyone that I'm friends with that's played it. But I'd love to chat with anyone about this game. And maybe I left out some things, like I said, and I'm sure I did. There were a lot of enjoyable things in this game and a lot of things to leave out. Unfortunately, this is my first review of a video game, so I'm sure it was rough. But hey, I do what I want. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Later.